Lauri drops 51, and the variety is how he becomes a top 10 player in the NBA. It's next on Locked on Jazz.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
How are you? I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. This is Locked On Jazz. It's your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, giving you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thank you so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all podcasting apps. To the everydayers, you're the best. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Lots to talk about. Anybody else stay up till the 18th inning last night? I did. It's not that big a deal for me, actually, because I'm usually wired after a game and can barely go to sleep. It just means I didn't actually get done all of the things that I usually get done after a game. I usually come home, I rewatch most of the game, I re-listen to some of it, I go watch the other close games. Instead, I just watched the Dodgers win a game. But that was pretty incredible. Historical moment. Certainly had to watch it. Pretty great. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. That's exactly why Game Time exists, for moments like that. Create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Or games like last night at home. Jazz go to 2-1. What a night. Lauri drops 51. The thing about the 51, well, 51's a lot. It's incredible. It's the first regular season 51 since Karl Malone in 1998, when I worked for the Jazz before I'd moved to Seattle. Yeah, we all can do the where we were in 98 game, particularly if you're 55 years old like I am. It's crazy. Here's what we got on today's show, by the way. The Jazz are really unique and are doing different things than anyone else in the NBA. We'll dig into that. Two other ways we won the game last night, other than individual performances. We'll dive into Key, who's been just super. Ball hasn't gone in on threes yet, but he's been super. Will Hardy was very heartfelt about Key in the postgame last night. We'll play that, and we'll dig into Lauri's 51-point performance. It shows why he can be a top 10 player. So Lauri took 32 shots last night and went to the free throw line 17 times. And that's actually the first thing that's the most important thing here with Lauri. One, he didn't have he had an insane shooting night, 17 of 17 for the free throw line, but it's not like he went 19 of 24 or something crazy. He went 14 of 32 and then 6 of 13 from three, which if you're a 40% three-point shooter is not insane. So the usage, which he can't do every night or he'll die, 32 points and 17 free throws is the first part of the story here, though. And what we saw last night from Lauri is an entire performance that's built on a foundation that makes him a different player than everyone else in the NBA. I've said this a million times. He's a 7-foot-tall Klay Thompson. But last night, he added more to his game. Lauri has had his field goals assisted rate was 85% of his field goals assisted, and the only players in the history of the game to ever do that were Kristaps Porzingis, Klay Thompson, and Lauri Markkanen. So, and actually Karl Malone is the last year in the NBA. He really didn't self-create at all. But if you look at last night, and I'm off one or two here, but I'm close. His 32 shot attempts are 13 catch and shoots, which is a crazy number. Okay, so that's the foundation. He's coming off pin downs. He's running off screens. Lauri ran off of, where did I have this? 47 screens last night. Crazy number. Let me put that in perspective for a second. Paulo Banchero ran off the second most of any player in a game last night with 21. Steph Curry last night ran off 11. Lauri ran off 47 screens last night. So the start is this. That's the action, right? That's his game. That's James Harden's pick and roll, Luka Doncic's pick and roll. Maybe, Shea's isolation. Lauri's is this off-ball action, this screening action, 47 of them. And the foundation is this incredible ability to shoot on the move. His 47th point and his 50th points of the night are crazy. I don't think we'll have time today to look at them. We'll look at them tomorrow, maybe. So that's the premise, is that he's doing all that. What he's adding is plays off of that. And last night, he bullied guys. He created his own opportunities. He drew fouls. He was relentless and stole buckets in places. And it all led to 51. Incredible. So 13 catch and shoots. These are just the shots. He drives 4 times for shots, but he also draws 2 fouls on drives. So now all of a sudden you're at 13 catch and shoots, 6 drives. He got 3 layups just off the offense. The alley-oop by Keyonte. He's wrapping around the screen and the offense beats a guy and one of our guys gets in the ball and he lays it up in it. He's just literally running off so many screens that he gets a layup. What they added last night that we had not seen before, and it's interesting, we talked about it indirectly last night. Yesterday on the show, I wasn't smart to put 2 and 2 together, is that Walker's has not had success as a screener yet. Mark Williams and Walker last night, 2 of the worst screening bigs in the NBA for the pick and roll. So what the Jazz did last night is they ran 14 Keyonte George, Lauri Markkanen pick and rolls to great success. 1.14 points per pick and roll, which is good for us. It's good for anyone in the half court. Our half court offense was bad last night, so that's really good. So Lauri got 3 shots last night as the roller on the pick and roll. Okay, that's a huge deal because Lauri almost always pops on the pick and roll, which is great because it's 5 out or it keeps everybody out. But if Lauri starts to roll on the pick and roll with success, how do you possibly guard him? Right? Because Keontae's running off the pick and you know that Lauri wants to pop, so you switch it because it's somewhat of even though Lauri's 7-1, you're going to view this as a small pick and roll. Lauri is the 4. And if you're the opposing team, you're now switching it because you're trying to worry about Lauri's pop because you have to. He's a 40% three-point shooter. He's Klay Thompson. But now if you switch the guard on it, Lauri rolls. And now Lauri's catching in the middle lane with a small guy on him. Lauri got 2 shots off offensive rebound. He got a shot off transition. He got a shot off just getting the ball in the middle of the lane. It just happens, but action. He got 2 shots off the curl where he then put it on the deck to create more for himself. He took an off the bounce 3 and he posted up late in the game. I don't think that's all 32. It's awfully close, though. I went through it and I think I just missed one. So the variety right there is a game changer. The foundation is his action. 47 screens he's coming off. And he's known for the catch and shoot 3. And it's incredible how fast he can get off. It's incredible how good he is at it. And it's ridiculous. And it's literally a 7'1" Klay Thompson. It's the only way to think about it. But now you add in 4 drives for shots and 2 drives where you get fouled. You add in pick and roll, and he got 3 shots and he got fouled off it. You add that he was a beast on the glass, got 2 offensive rebounds and got fouled on 1. And you add that he just got a little and 1 drive for 1. Got fouled twice late game and a loose ball pickup on one of the other fouls to get to 17 free throws. You put all that together, bullying someone as big as Mark Williams on attacks to the basket, pulling up and stopping for jump shots on the baseline, a turnaround shot on the baseline that was ridiculous, playing just enough activity and action and being a physical beast that you just get a few, outrunning someone for 1, and then the fact that you can get off 13 threes a night and you're going to hit 5 or 6 of them every night. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's something really special. That is the foundation to an offense. That is someone who's better than what we've always referred to as the third best player on a good team. That outing right there. Now, I don't know that you can do 51 every night and play 45 minutes and get 32 shot offs and use that much usage, but that's the making of a top 10 player in the NBA. That was really special. The other thing that's happened here 3 games into the season is that Keyonte George, probably the two of them are feeding off each other, is really having a fabulous run here. And Will Hardy was super heartfelt about it last night. And we're talking about it next on Locked on Jazz. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Murdoch Hyundai. Murdoch Hyundai is located in Murray, in Logan, and in Linden. I'm currently driving the Santa Fe. It's pretty amazing. Hybrid Santa Fe. I was driving home last night and I looked down and I was using no fuel. Literally driving, it's a hybrid, using no fuel, which is just a crazy concept, but so cool because you can go almost 600 miles on a tank of gas in this car. It's got great space. It's got absolutely fabulous power and pickup, and it kind of looks pretty cool. It's the Hyundai Santa Fe. I'm driving right now. It's the new model. It's just terrific. Absolutely terrific. It's our third version of the Santa Fe we've had in our house. Both kids got a Santa Fe at 16, both driving them, both loving them, and both, they're both, now one of them 7 years old and just killing it. It's all at Murdoch Hyundai. If you're going to stop by, email me first at dlock09@gmail.com. That's dlock09@gmail.com, and let us get you the VIP treatment that you deserve at Murdoch Hyundai. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of Locked On. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in the action than FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA as well. Even if you missed the start of a game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making the late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Locked On. And today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time gets you into the game and into the action with ease of the best sports ticket app out there. Nothing beats being in the arena for those games. Boy, last night was worth it. Let's get real. That was super fun. And sometimes buying tickets can be a total headache. Queues, surprise fees, prices jumping, checkout, all that kind of stuff. Not with Game Time, the app that gives the fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. Game Time, grab seats, check it out. Use the Game Time Zone feature. The Zone deals are a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. You can even find NBA tickets for under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDONBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. It's all at Game Time. Fun night last night. Reminder, you can listen this year on SEG, on Jazz Plus. You go to the multicast and switch it over. I got a super nice email last night from a listener who said let's see, what did he say? Kyle texted me and said, long-time listener, love the podcast. Congratulations. I just want to drop a note. I watched the game tonight on Jazz Plus, toggled over the radio call. It worked seamlessly. I love Bowler and Thurl. I just wanted to try something new, and I loved being able to watch listening to you and Ron. Keep up the great work. They also have the Spanish broadcast, so let people know on that multicast. Thank you for making Locked On your first listen of the day, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. Keyonte was really good again tonight. Okay, for those of you that are everydayers, I've been pounding that I was in on Keyonte. The word, like, obviously was told stuff. Also, just being around him, the kid's just growing up, and it's so cool. And he's just so comfortable in his skin, and it's so fun to watch right now. You know, the ball's still got to go in the basket. I think he's 3 of 18 for 3 this year. He's got to figure that out. That's fine. I think he will. But everything out about his game. There was a 3-play sequence in the fourth quarter that was dominant. So he gets it right wing on Devin Booker and just beats Booker with a right-hand drive, switch to the left hand. Then comes off a pick and roll with Kessler and an underhand scoop lob, and Walker dunks it. And then drives in the mid-fourth quarter and just straight down the middle elevates over the defense as a 6'4" guard and finishes. 3 pretty special athletic plays that most guys can't make. Like, it's all there. It always has been all there. I mean, it's clearly what Danny saw at the 16th pick of the draft. And the ball's got to go in, right? I've said this 1,000 times about him. The ball's got to go in. But the personal growth, the on-floor calm, all things that are reasonable at 21, all things that, frankly, any of us that were asking for before, which me included, was kind of unfair. The kid was a kid. And just being around him every day is totally different. It's really cool. As a human, as a person, as his growth, like who he is, it's really neat. You can hear this out of Will Hardy. Let's listen to Will. This is really heartfelt. There's a lot there. Let's go back to a show that we did a little while ago about Keyonte. And it's actually a show I'm as proud that we've done. Every now and then you do a show. If you do a lot of these, 250 of them a year, and you do a show and you leave and you go, okay, that was a good show. That was different. That was special. That was something that not everyone else is talking about. I think there's some of that today too, with just the breakdown of Lauri. And some of the other stuff I'll have for you in a minute. Try to give you something unique to make you a better Jazz fan each and every day. Give you unique stuff. This was more about Keyonte as a person. This was the fact that Keyonte has not spent 3 years in a row since 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. He went to a Christian private school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade talking to him. And then he went to a high school for freshman, sophomore year, and then he went to a different high school as junior year, and then he went to a different high school as senior year, and then he went to a different college for 1 year. And when Will talks about Keyonte being comfortable in his surroundings, around his people, and things that, I think that's what he's talking about. That's what jumps out to me. Is that kind of connection and belief and trust and growth, and then he's also allowed it to happen. This was a pretty surly, quiet kid who didn't look you in the eyes when he first got here. It wasn't like he didn't give off any vibe at all that you were going to like want to be around him for 1 second or have a conversation with him. He's delightful now. It's growth. It's 19 to 21. It's scared to not scared, frankly. Right? We forget that these guys, because they're the greatest in the world at what they do, might actually be scared. Like, Like, I'm guessing that if we ever got him, to be honest, the 19-year-old Keyonte George was scared. Am I going to be okay? Am I all right? Who do I trust? Am I going to be a good enough player? Why am I in Utah? What's going on? I've been in Texas my whole life. Where's my support system? Who do I have around me? What do I do on the road? Yeah. All of it. All of it. Now he's 21. He understands the league. He's been to every arena. He knows what to do on the road. He knows which coaches he can trust. He knows which strength and conditioning coaches want what. And he feels incredibly comfortable. And he's driven the same drive to the practice facility a few hundred times. And now it's leading to a player that is like amazing. I think he sat 30 seconds last night in the second half and overtime. And we're using him on the court in a lot of different ways. Right? I talked about 14 pick and rolls between he and Lauri. He also came off 15 handoffs last night and was really good at it. Like, let's keep an eye on this. He had 15 handoffs last night. He averaged 1.4 points per handoff. This is a little bit to last year that they discovered he might be better off the ball. We're using Nurkic and Kessler as a fulcrum for the offense. Let's see whether or not Keyonte, maybe with his burst and what he can do, can really turn the corner in a manner that is something that opens up something in this game. But Keyonte, leadership, I think he had 10 assists last night, 2 turnovers. He had 4 turnovers, 2 turnovers late. He had 5 rebounds last night, all defensive. He had 26 points on 18 shots. He went 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Again, another 8 free throws. He played 43 minutes. I do not think he sat. He had 1 bad turnover late. It's allowed. And he just made a bunch of plays. And then to Will, what Will was talking about, the last part of that was so interesting to me, and probably something I didn't get to because of Freddie Freeman and 18 innings last night, and I will look at tonight and try to have for you tomorrow on tomorrow's show. The decision-making in the fourth quarter when it was, and I tried to talk to him about this after the game, when it was abundantly clear that you're going to Lauri every play because he's on a different planet. And yet there are times when suddenly you can't get it to Lauri. And Keyonte's got to make a decision what he's going to do. And I thought generally he made the right reads and made a few plays in there where, okay, I tried, but I can't get to him. And I got to make a play. And he just made the play. Super cool 3 games into the season that these guys are making these strides. Big bounce back night for Walker, too, last night. He was not good in Sacramento. 7 turnovers, didn't grab the rebound. That was a night that could cause you some issues. 25 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks last night. And 2 big-time clutch free throws, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. Walker, along with Austin and Sean Sheldon, have put in a lot of work on those free throws, and to be able to replicate it under pressure, pretty cool. All right, the Jazz are unique. They are doing things very differently than the rest of the NBA. Next on Locked On Jazz. Today's show is brought to you in part by Rippling. Sorry. My screen's doing funny things. There we go. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS, promise to make work easier. SaaS, right? But now the average company is buried with hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS. That's sad. Software as a disservice. Love it. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is a unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance, all in one place that helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders a clarity, speed, and control. I like this. SaaS instead of SAD. I like this a lot. Everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access runs automatically and perfectly in sync. It's seriously simple to use. Gives companies one source of truth for their people, data, and everything they touch. Whether you want to run your entire HR, IT, or finance operations as one, or just fill the gaps in your software stack, Rippling can do it all. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/lockedonnba. Learn more at rippling.com/lockedonnba. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNBA for 6 months free. Today's show is also brought to you by Monarch. Let's be honest, most of us don't know all the financial things that we have going on. We have a pretty good idea, but there might be a 401k or a savings or where the investments are going or what you're actually spending or these. It's easy to lose track. And that means leaving money on the table, and that's why you start using Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. So organize, categorize, do whatever you might be able to do, review with your partner, share goals, make better financial decisions, get to go on a trip because you know you saved money. Monarch's visual dashboards and smart tools make it so much easier to understand where your money's going and how to make it work for you. Don't let your financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. Thanks so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen of the day. By the way, you can listen on NBA Audio League Pass for $9.99. You can get all the NBA broadcasts in one for $9.99. Also SiriusXM, KSL Sports. Thanks for tuning in. Super fun this year. All right. You know I like to be geeky. So you're going to be geeky with me. Okay, 2 reasons we won last night's game. We grabbed 28 offensive rebounds. I didn't grab one of them. Jazz grabbed 28 offensive rebounds, and Phoenix had 30 defensive rebounds. So the Jazz offensive rebounding rate last night was nearly 45%. The Jazz shot 36 of 38 from the free throw line. The Jazz were not good in the half court last night defensively. This is probably something we'll have to keep an eye on. Jazz half-court offense last night was a .86 points per possession, 29th percentile. Not great, but they grabbed 49% of their offensive rebounds, and they didn't miss free throws. We were not in transition a great amount last night. We were only in transition 11% of the time, which is kind of an 8th percentile. However, when in transition, the Jazz converted at a very, very high rate. Really, the free throw makes and the rebounds were awesome. The Jazz defense continues to not allow anyone to get to the rim. Last night, Phoenix went 7 of 15 at the rim, which is terrible. It's in the 2nd percentile of rim accuracy, according to Cleaning the Glass, but it's also only 15 shots at the rim. Jazz are denying the rim as well as anyone in the NBA. I don't love that stat because it's somewhat subjective to where the scorer places the shot. The Warriors score is notorious for not putting it. For all we know, we're doing the same thing. We'll see over time. That one, I want larger sample size, more scores to touch your notes, and I like to look at away versus home numbers on that as well. Okay, we're different. Here's what we did last night offensively. We ran 44 picks. We had 36 handoffs. We had 11 isolations. We had 31 drives and 20 transition plays. We had 112 off-ball screens. So what, David? Last night, the next closest off-ball screen team, and there were 11 games last night, was the New Orleans Pelicans. And the New Orleans Pelicans ran 64 off-ball screens, and we ran 112. So far this year, in 3 games, we've run 112 off-ball screens against Phoenix last night, overtime, 100 against the Clippers, and 99 against Sacramento. So really, pretty consistent. In fact, last night was the lowest rate of off-ball screens we've run in any game all year. Of the 106 games that have been played this year, the average number, the mean number at 53 is 42 last night by Phoenix against us, actually, ironically enough, and they were not very good at it. So we're running 100 off-ball screens, and the average team's running 42. Orlando, who can't score, might have told you that in points gained, is the only other team that's got 2 or 3 of these up there. Orlando ran 87 in one game and 79 in another. Detroit ran 72 in a game. Those are the only 3 other games all year. It's only been a week, but all year out of 106 games where anybody else ran more than 70 off-ball screens. And we're running 112, 199. And there's only been 3 other games all year where anyone's run over a 70. Will Hardy's doing something dramatically different than the rest of the NBA right now. Like, contrast that to who will play next. Portland, who last night ran 20. Cleveland, who's a heavy pick and roll team, ran 13 in a game earlier this year. Off-ball screens. The Lakers last night ran 25. They don't run off-ball screens. We're running 100. There have only been, excluding us, 10 teams that have had individual teams that have had more than 60 off-ball screen or 60 or more off-ball screens in a game. So we're doing something very differently than the rest of the NBA. Again, 44 picks, 36 handoffs, great variety, 11 isolations, 31 drives, and 112 off-ball screens. Crazy. Very, very different. I'm trying to see if I have anything else. I think that sums up the show today. I did want to point out one thing. Royce O'Neal's awesome. I didn't get to see him last night and talk to him, but Royce O'Neal comes to the Utah Jazz camp many years ago as undrafted, played in Europe, comes into camp. It's a 2-day camp for free agents. And in the first camp, he gets hit and he gets a tooth knocked out and he doesn't say anything and he keeps playing. And someone finds the tooth on the floor and they stop the scrimmage and they're like, okay, whose tooth is it? And he won't say anything. And finally he cops to it. And they're like, okay, you got to get this taken care of. So they take him to the dentist, they get the tooth fixed and he plays the night session. And they decide, okay, this guy's tough as hell. So they invite him and then he makes himself to training camp and then he makes the roster. And he's about to have a 12-year NBA career. And not only that, he's really good now. And I actually thought he was done when he left us because I thought his knees had failed him. And he couldn't stop defensively anymore. He was stutter stepping. He had 17 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals last night. I think that's the first 5x4 in his career. He's a dead-eye 40% three-point shooter now. He's playing more off the bounce. He passed the ball for 7 assists last night. Without Dylan Brooks, he filled the gap. He was really great. It was really great to see. So I just want to shout out to that. Grayson Allen's a pretty hell of a good player, too. Dennis Lindsay knew how to get talent. Give Dennis Lindsay credit. That is Locked On Jazz today. I'm about to sneeze, so let's say goodbye. Too late. Sorry, guys. It is Locked On Jazz. Have a great one. Thanks very much for tuning in. We now send you the first ever 24/7 national NBA channel, Locked On NBA, or check out Locked On NBA Game Night. Every game, every night on Locked On NBA Game Night at Locked On NBA.